We're going to know a lot after Monday, I believe, because the WNBA owners will sit down with Nafesia Collier and Kelsey Plum. Okay, the WNBA vice presidents, as well as Nike Agumake, the president.
Less than 100 days remain until tip, and the WNBA owners are finally meeting the players' union face-to-face for the first time since fall. Monday's session in New York City isn't just another negotiation. It could decide whether there will even be a season. Right now, the two sides aren't just far apart. They aren't even responding to each other's proposals.
And the players' union will meet in person in New York City on Monday for the first time since the fall amid stalled CBA negotiations. Talking to reporters at Unrivaled, WNBA VP Kelsey Plum said she and Nafesia Collier will travel to New York after their teams play each other in Miami on Sunday night.
This isn't a negotiation tactic, it's a message. The league saw the proposal as so unrealistic that replying felt pointless. They were waiting for what they called a more realistic offer. Essentially, you've got to be kidding us. Both sides have reasons. Players see record ratings, sold-out arenas, and huge media deals and feel they deserve a bigger share. Owners, meanwhile, are running a league that hasn't turned a profit in 28 years, subsidized by NBA revenues, and now face demands for 30% of gross revenue before expenses.
4 weeks, the league didn't believe the contents of the union's proposal warranted a response. According to a source familiar with the league's thinking, we all know what those parameters are. Everything is stuck around revenue sharing at a 70-30 split, 30% of gross to the players. The league is saying, no, this is never happening. We will give you net revenue share, but we are not giving...
Here's where it gets interesting. The league's current offer would raise the average player salary to around $500,000, a huge jump from the current $100,000, along with better benefits and travel. For a league that loses money every year, it's an extremely generous package. But the union keeps pressing the housing issue, and that's hurting their public image. Telling fans that players making $500,000 a year can't afford housing isn't building sympathy. It's drawing eye rolls.
What she said, according to an ESPN report, quote, "It is not a constructive way to continue on these negotiations," talking about the fact that the league is not engaging with the players at all, especially considering the timeline we're in. Nike Agumake told Front Office Sports in a phone interview, "To give the excuse that our proposal was not adequate."
The reality is simple. Making $100,000 now lets you afford an apartment. Making $500,000 under the new proposal makes it even easier. Maybe not in Manhattan or Beverly Hills, but quality housing near your team is doable. Split rent if needed. Millions of Americans manage with far less. Fans are frustrated because the issue sounds less like a labor dispute and more like entitlement. The league's stance is reasonable. They'll share more, but from net revenue, not gross. Expenses must be covered first, or the already subsidizing NBA owners would foot the losses.
I mean, it's going to take real compromise from the players. I think the league... I could see the league coming off a little more base salary. All right, one could certainly argue against them deserving that, but I could see them coming off of a little more base salary, a little more. Their offer for a league that's never turned a profit is beyond fair. We've gone over the numbers over and over again.
Monday is the turning point. The owners are traveling to sit down face-to-face, and something has to come from that meeting. Either they set the framework for a deal, or we could be heading toward a work stoppage, lockout, or strike. If the union won't budge on the 30% gross revenue demand, there's nowhere left to go. The real question is whether NECA and union leaders are willing to compromise, because the league has already made it clear this demand is a non-starter, and time is running out.
and find a livable space look, you might not be able to live in New York City or someplace like, or LA. Fans are not going to, we're not going to feel bad for you because of that. All right, you can move out to the middle of the country just like a lot of folks if you get right down to it. It is what it is. Well, we got to live close to the facilities, blah, blah, blah. Okay, figure it out.
What's really at stake isn't just money, housing, or travel. It's whether the players' union understands the WNBA's financial reality. The owners have been covering losses for nearly 30 years because they believe in the league and want it to grow. But there's a limit. Asking for 30% of gross revenue from a league that's never been profitable essentially asks the owners to increase their losses. That's not a business model. It's charity with a collective bargaining agreement attached. The league's net revenue model is standard across professional sports. Cover costs first, then share profits. The players, however, want their cut up front, before bills, before losses. They're asking for guaranteed money, housing, premium travel, bigger rosters, and better facilities. Each request alone is reasonable, but combined with 30% of gross revenue, it's not negotiation, it's dictation. That's why the league stopped responding. The WNBA isn't the NBA yet. Revenue isn't there, and profits don't exist. Record ratings and sold-out arenas show growth, but growth doesn't equal profit. Expenses still exceed income. Everyone wants the same outcome: the league to succeed, better salaries, improved conditions, and more investment. But the union's approach overlooks the financial reality needed to make it sustainable.
Split the rent. Upgrade your living situation, whatever you got to do. But the new proposal, there is no excuse for that housing element even being involved in the entire equation. This is it, folks. They're meeting Monday. Something's going to come out of that. I would assume that the WNBA owners, aka many of them NBA owners, probably going to make an in-person line drawn in the sand of some kind. I think there's a chance they can either have parameters for a deal, or we could be coming out of that meeting on Monday, lockout or a strike. But Monday's a big deal now. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out.
You can't spend money you don't have, and you can't demand a slice of revenue that would bankrupt the league. The $500,000 average salary the owners are offering is a massive, life-changing commitment for most players, and it comes from owners already operating a loss. That should be the starting point for a deal. Instead, it's being treated as an insult because it's not structured the way the union wants. Monday's meeting is the turning point. The owners are showing up in person not for casual conversation, but to deliver a message. This is as far as they can go. If the union walks out still demanding 30% of gross revenue, a work stoppage is inevitable. Time is short. Training camps, rosters, and player plans can't happen without a CBA. The real question is Nneka Ogwumike willing to be the union president who presides over a canceled season? What's at stake isn't just money or benefits. It's whether the WNBA even has a 30th season. Watch Monday closely. Will the union move off 30%? Will the owners improve base salaries or benefits? Compromise is the only alternative to disaster. The players deserve fair pay. The owners deserve a sustainable business. Both are possible, but only if negotiations are grounded in reality. Monday will show whether that's achievable or if the WNBA is facing its biggest crisis since its founding. What do you think happens in that room? Will they reach a deal or head for a lockout? Drop your prediction in the comments and hit subscribe to stay updated. This story is far from over.